Well, basically, I went to school in Birmingham with Barry, and Barry and myself started a little band off while we were at school. Met this fella called Reg Calvert, and he decided to take us on full time. We went over to live with him in a place called Clifton, which is just outside of Rugby. He had a big house there, you know. It was very cool. It was known as the school for pop stars. Right. You know? But we all used to live there, and Reg got us the contract. We used to back other bands. Mm-hmm. There was a fella there that was going to have a recording test with Decca, so he asked us to go down with him to back him. And it ended up that he didn't get the contract, but we got the contract, and that's the way we started. I think a lot of good bands came out of the Midlands. It is forgotten. No, there's some good bands. I mean, the first person that I started off in a band was with Denny Lane. Obviously, he went on to Paul McCartney, etc., after the Moody Blues. Mm. Yeah, a lot of good bands.
What was it like then, as a young lad, you know, the music business, at what many people have described as the most exciting time?
It was a fantastic time. It really was, like you say, exciting. All over the world, meeting different people. It was a wonderful time. And of course, when we got our first hit record, I mean, we were then living in Sheffield, doing all the clubs up there. And I remember the day distinctly when our agent phoned up and said, yeah, you're in the charts. Wow. Oh, God. Yeah. In a morning, just one morning, we were doing 30 or 40,000 copies of You Got Your Troubles. I mean, it was just a different scene then.
So, Top of the Pops, television obviously followed that success as well, and that must have been quite exciting as well.
It's great, yeah. All, like you say, a young lad, and it was all exciting. I mean, we were very fortunate to get hold of You've Got Your Troubles. We'd had a few songs out before. I mean, Caroline, for instance, I mean, the radio station picked up on our version of Caroline as the signature tune, but it was You've Got Your Troubles, and we were dead lucky. We walked into a publisher's and it was just lying on a shelf in a demo version by the writers. A lot comes into it, but having said that, I think we've carried on because I think we still try hard and we still enjoy it, and I think we're still a pretty good band.
In the 60s as well, a lot of people who formed their own bands were self-taught musicians. Was that the case as well with the Fortunes?
I had piano lessons. My parents made me have piano lessons when I was very young, and now I'm grateful for that because it did teach me quite a bit fundamentally about music. But all we do now is if we want to learn a song, we'll just pick it up by ear and go in the studio or the rehearsal studios and just learn them.
What was the first big milestone then? Was it the first record in the shops that you remember, or was it the first record that hit the charts that you remember?
The first milestone really was actually getting the contract. That was the first thing. Then, as I say, we had 4 singles out that did nothing. And then You've Got Your Troubles was the big one for us, that start, and that's why we're still here, basically. After You've Got Your Troubles, Here It Comes Again, Golden Ring, then we had a dispute with Decca and we weren't recording, so we went quiet, and then we got back with Roger Cook and Roger Greenaway, and they came up with Here Comes That Rainy Day Feeling again. But Frankie Valli desperately wanted it. I mean, and God bless them, they wouldn't let him have it. They just gave it to us. And of course, then we used to go in the studio and we'd do a single in 3 hours. I mean, 3 hours. Look at it today, they take years.
Yeah, 2-track recording.
Yeah.
And you just do it live, would you? Even with an orchestra in there?
Well, no, they'd put the orchestra down and then we'd go on top of that, you know. But I mean, it was primitive, really, when you think about it, wasn't it?
And of course, the Fortunes in the 70s had a whole string of new singles. You mentioned Cook and Greenaway. I mean, everything they touched turned to gold, didn't it?
Yeah, we had, as I say, Here Comes That Rainy Day Feeling again. Then we followed that with Freedom Come, Freedom Go. And then Lindsay DePaul wrote a song called Storm in a Teacup for us.
Why have the hits remained so popular all these years after they first came out?
I think basically because they were such good songs. The whole business has changed now. Okay, there's still really good stuff coming out, you know. But basically they were good, classy songs. And we were fortunate because we had a few of them.